Guys, real quick, before Philip gets here, when the whole video expands and you see me and him, he's got a new set. The whole background to his video is brand new and it looks so good. Drop a comment down below when he tells you to in the video, but instead of asking questions, drop a comment that tells him how great the set looks. Okay, he's almost here.
Hello, and welcome to Khyber Shards, a 5th edition actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world. It's Friday, so we have a Khyber Shards Answers today, and we are joined by Colin. Hey, buddy.
It me. What's going on, my dude?
Not much. We got a few questions for Pog and for you about Pog. And the first comes from Laura. And Laura wants to know, the expression of lack of confidence here, I think, is pretty strong because they begin when Pog dies. Not if, when Pog dies. I think as that's one of the characters that hasn't died yet, I mean.
Yeah, it's been a year since I got knocked out. Like, let's keep that in mind. It's not like the others who, like, it's been a fight, or maybe it has been this fight. Like, I'm fine. I think it's more of a lack of confidence in Colin than it is in Pog. Pog is far more capable than Colin is of handling him. It's like, and I always say this to you after a really good combat encounter or a really well-structured moment where I go, oh, I completely forgot I should have been doing this the whole time. And it's like in a game, like a video game, where you forget that you have an ability because you haven't used it in so long, or you keep holding on to an ability because you go, oh, I might need it more in a minute. Like Spirit Shield. Like I don't use that nearly enough. And I think about it, but I'm always like, well, I'm pretty sure that they're okay. If this other person gets hit harder, then I need to be prepared, and then the whole turn goes, my spirit's just like, dude, I'm right here. I'm right here. You should have given me an instruction. So yeah, they're probably right. Colin will kill Pog.
But when, I'm going to say if Pog dies, are you going to play Pip as your main character?
No. I love Pip, and I'm having so much fun getting to interject him at times. I would like to do something pretty dramatic if I were to play a different character in this campaign. And I also think that as much as I love him, I am still emphatic that Pip would probably get a little bit tiresome of being around after a while. and I'm very happy with the way that we've been able to craft a more thoughtful Pog, a little bit more observant and aware as he's grown. And I just don't think that Pip is ever going to have anything that turns him into that person. And God bless him for it, but Pip is going to just always be a little ball of sunshine and chaos. And I don't think I'd have the energy to play him for 100 episodes.
and we're here for it.
I'm so happy with him. And I'm so happy that people seem to be enjoying the little guy. He's a lot of fun.
I've really liked, I think one of the better decisions I have made just from a campaign perspective. The two things I'm very happy with about this campaign, aside from the story, I like the story, but are the push mechanic and adding the children. I feel like that was a really good addition to the game.
I spent the first time, because little behind the curtain here for y'all, Philip told us a long time ago, and a long time before we introduced the kids, to come up with them. And I spent a lot of time on Pip and thinking through the race and a personality and a skill set and who I wanted this little guy to be. And then we just sat on them forever. And I was like, I'm never going to get to use this guy. And like, I spent so much time irritating my cat with this voice.
In fairness, I did not expect that we were suddenly going to jaunt off into the Feywild for a lot of episodes.
That's valid. Yeah, I get that. I mean, neither did Pog, but he was super down for it. So don't ever put an adventure in front of Pog and expect it to not be taken. Here we go. Which is why I will kill him at some point with that attitude.
Sure.
So Philip hi Emily, asks you if it won't be revealed in a later episode. Was the Scoro, Sarissa, Teodoro, or someone else?
The fate of Sarissa and Teodoro will be revealed in a later episode. Yeah, I think that's the least informative answer I can give to that.
I think we can also preemptively say this is a question you'll come back to for the viewer, right? Like,
yeah.
We'll let the game tell you what the game tells you, and this one we'll come back to. Maybe we retouch this one in my next KSA. We come back and get Emily the more thorough answer they're looking for there.
Emily would also like to know what made you decide to multi-class into fighter, and how many levels of fighter are you currently planning on taking, if there's a plan?
Multi-classing seemed like something that a real D&D player would do. Was the initial draw. I like getting to attack, and being a barbarian and a fighter lets me do that a whole lot more. And because there was no path that I could really go on that was going to make Pog any kind of a healer and therefore more useful to the group, being the dude who damages more things more severely seemed to make me the most useful. Pog has made his jokes about being the muscle, but that's what he is. He's the dude that's going to go in and save Ari from a fight, and keep things away from Ezri in a fight. So being able to do more of that seemed rewarding and sensical. How many levels? I think I'm going to go 6. Is when I get the next extra attack unlocked. So,
well, with you've already got an extra attack from the barbarian, so you won't get a third attack by going 5 levels in fighter.
Well, then I'm gonna make a different decision then. But I've got access to another third attack outside of Action Surge, which
that's true.
Philip and I will have fun discussions on, because the next change is impending for us. So yeah, I'm not sure. I hit a point where, as the guy who's just swinging for damage, you wind up reaching a level where, this is what I'm capable of. So I guess I'll just continue taking a little bit more capability in the other departments, because I'm just swinging as hard as anyone can in the game.
Cool. Emily also asked, if worse came to worse and Pog were captured by Blackbriar and combined with another animal,
Gross.
What animal would you prefer to be combined with? And would that question be dependent on whether you were still able to play Pog after the experiment?
Gross. Well, I think the first dependent part of the question is what I would prefer or what Pog would prefer. Because Pog would absolutely want to go with a lion.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin would absolutely want to go with a bear. I think a bear Pog, like Oso Pog, sounds awesome.
Bear Pog.
that's pretty rad. Because to be able to then swing Fury's Edge and then claw slash is great.
So Pog needs to find himself a werebear to bite him.
That's if it happens. If we meet one, watch out, rest of the party, because Ezri's probably going to turn into a spore fart and do some magic that makes it undone. But for the first couple episodes, whee! that's what I would do. Would it be dependent on if I got to play as Pog? That's tough because I have a difficult time envisioning a world where Philip would take Pog away from me. I feel like even if that were to be, and this is going to sound dark, but please don't think that I'm putting that darkness into Philip. If something were to have happened where he would be changed and experimented on, he'd probably kill Pog while Pog was under my control as a player. Rather than taking the agency away from me, we would dissolve the existence of the character through narrative. That's how I would imagine we would get there, and then a couple annoying Pip episodes until the next player of mine entered.
Nice. And then Mia says, Colin, was your brilliant refusal to take the teeth from the downed Skoro, that's the splicer monster, planned in advance as something in your pocket, or when you knew you were going to Blackbriar, or was it a spur of the moment decision? Yeah, what motivated that?
That's a really good question, because neither Colin nor Pog knew what they were going to see in Blackbriar. Philip had zero conversations with us that you guys didn't hear on camera about what we were headed into. So I hadn't put any thought. Looking back, there's a pretty good chance that everything in there is people or former people. But I think it was at the defeat of the Skoro in particular that, you know, the decision to wait had not been Pog's decision. He had distinctly not been on the side of waiting as long as we did. And we had been told that every day would have consequences. And I think it was at the defeat of a beast of such strength that he realized this could possibly be Teodoro or Sarissa because of where we are. We haven't seen the person who makes these things, so we haven't seen how they make these things or what that process this could. And then based on hearing the stories of legend about them having been changed, yeah, we're not going to take from someone who was a victim, you know, teeth from a vampire, teeth from someone who chose to have lycanthropy. Like, if we beat you in monster form, I'm taking monster's teeth. But if this was a person that was taken against their will and changed into something that they did not want to be, that's a victory of weight and not a victory of pride so much. So leave that if Pog had the time, that's something we would have buried. Because that should have been people. And Pog has no problem killing people when they want to kill him. But whoever it had been, wasn't making the decisions. And if it was one of Dane's people, then that means it was, by extension, one of Pog's people, because Dane is Pog's people. So yeah, it was a lot to process in that moment, and I enjoyed thinking that our whole group unspokenly may have had that same realization of that we did that. That's a consequence that we just fought. Maybe not, but in that moment, we don't have any reason to think it's not. Yeah. So yeah, it was a heavy moment. And a moment of also got to keep going, because if we made that mistake, then going to stand around and talk about it and make another.
Fair enough.
It was a good moment. When you pitched the mission and you made that our future assignment, I know that the fact that we did not all just go grab our weapons and run out the door probably surprised you quite a bit.
Yeah.
Did you have a plan for what would happen, or did you have to come up with, well, this is going to change if they wait these multiple days?
No, I knew, I had kind of in my head a rough timeline of what any delay would cost, at various points. And obviously we're past that. And so it'd be to the, viewers will have yet to see what costs were reached and what costs were not reached. But I kind of had a rough timeline of what the bad guys in this scenario are up to and how long it takes them to do it. And therefore, how long can you afford to wait, before going? So, and also I had in mind some longer term consequences of the delay beyond just the immediate physical peril to the potential victims. And we'll see whether that comes to fruition, because we haven't yet gotten there in our recording.
That's what's so hard for me about doing this KSA. Remembering where we are and where you are.
Yeah. We're gosh, I think Casey keeps our calendar as the only organized member of the crew. And
she's the IRL lore keeper.
Yes. And last night we did some recording, and she said we had recorded episodes up to September 19th's release. And that was just bonkers to me. I mean, I'm glad we're ahead, because it means it'll be a lot easier to manage the craziness around the holidays and the craziness when Casey and Adam's baby comes. So that'll be more manageable. And that's reference doing it. But it does make KSA difficult sometimes to keep that in your head of where are we in the release schedule.
Of when we're recording this. That's 7 episodes ahead. That's how far I have to time travel right now. And I did not remember to eat breakfast this morning, much less what I ate for breakfast. So 7 episodes ahead, thinking that far back.
And some of those are a doozy. I mean, some of those episodes are, some big things happen.
Yeah. What is ahead of you guys is some of the coolest stuff that has happened on this campaign. I think you've really laid out some whoppers of stuff for us to get into, and it's I'm so excited for you guys to see this.
Me too. Well, that is all of our questions for today.
Easy
Thank you all
breezy.
so much for submitting questions. You can always submit questions over on our Discord, the link to which is down in the description, or in comments below this and any other recent video. We always go back and check those before we record KSA. Down there, you'll also find links to all of our other social media and to Colin's Twitch, where he is sorry BTR. The O is a 0. New episodes of Khyber Shards drop every Monday, and a new Khyber Shards Answers will be out next Friday. And until next time, thanks for rolling with us.